It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Monday. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. We ran in this morning and we are ready to rock and roll.
We are ready to go, man. I ran this morning. I ran 2.2 miles. I love to run.
It's a lot of running.
It is.
You ran a long way.
You know what? If anytime you could just put the phone down and run and say, I ran, and that you felt good about yourself is a good day. So the more you run, the more you could say you ran.
I about ran to the restroom this morning after Chase startled me.
Oh, I did startle you. You ran. You did. You were nervous.
He was.
You're a jumpy guy. That's okay.
Yeah, when I'm dialed in to do something, and then somebody says, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, how are you?"
Right. There was one time I was really dialed in, and somebody walked into my office, and I had my back turned, and I turned around, and they were just standing there. I think it was Vingan, and I was just like, I said words I can't say on the air. I there's a hole in the ceiling, so I get it. It's fine. But anyway, it's Monday. We made it.
We did make it.
I have a bone. Well, I'm concerned.
Okay.
We talk about, you ran this morning. You probably needed to.
Yeah.
Because Nick and I walk into Joe's cubicle and you are eating an entire thing of chocolate icing.
Diabolical.
Thank you. Frosting. Yeah.
Frosting.
Yeah.
Chocolate
icing.
Frosting.
That's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you say, look, it's sugar-free. In which I reply,
right.
Look, this is kind of like you go to McDonald's and you order 2 cheeseburgers and 2 fries and hey, but let me get a Diet Coke. Like at that point, just go for the real thing. Like just, I when I was working for Dad at Piscetti's, I got in trouble for this, but I literally had somebody come by and they ordered like all this extra stuff, extra breadsticks, and like, oh, can I get a Diet Coke? I'm on a diet, and I just looked at him like, really?
Well, I mean, look, I don't have any vices. I smoke cigars, way too many that I probably should cut back a lot, but I don't drink that much anymore. And I just I went to the store and I'm like, I'm craving frosting and icing. And so there's one that says 0 sugar. And then I put a Bucky sticker on top of it. And then everybody's like, oh, Buc-ee's. Nobody's looking at it's the frosting or icing. They're all excited for me. It has nothing to do with Buc-ee's, but I don't know. It's it makes me because of that, I need probably to run a little bit more tomorrow and say that I ran because I'm eating frosting.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all good though. But thank you for the concern.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a good segue. NFL playoffs got underway. I thought the Sunday night game was the best game. I mean, Tampa and Washington was a fun game. Washington, I mean, they got to play Detroit now, but like Detroit better not sleep on them.
No, I don't think. I mean, Detroit. No, look, Detroit. Team
I think Detroit is determined and destined, but
here's the deal: you stop that quarterback for the Commanders. That's it. It begins and ends with him. They ran so many crossing patterns last night that Tampa Bay couldn't stop, and those always work. So they just kept going back to him, and the guys were open. But Daniels is a hell of a quarterback. You look at there, and the culture. Like, why couldn't Anthony Richardson be like this? And probably the other teams, like the Bears, might be thinking, well, a guy like Caleb Williams had a decent year, but he's surrounded by good people. Daniels is. And it looks like that he's a good dude, man. And he gives a lot of credit to his teammates. And that's a fun team. That's going to be a fun game on Saturday night to watch all that. So it'll be good. And the early game is going to be Houston versus Kansas City. Now it's already come out that the starters haven't played in 3 weeks. That's going to be the thing you hear about all week about the Chiefs is that they haven't played in nearly a month. And that's what's going to be over and over and over again. But I don't think Houston has a chance against them.
I don't. I was surprised that they won that game because that game was terrible to start, and then they kind of pulled away. I thought the Chargers would win that one, but Houston, fought, but that it's not going to go very far, in my opinion. The game of the weekend next weekend is obviously going to be Buffalo and Baltimore.
Yeah,
that is to me like the sub AFC championship, that will lead to the AFC championship. You talking about teams on a mission? I never thought I'd say this. I like the Ravens. Like they're fun. They're fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and all you Titans fans that are saying Derrick Henry could have been doing that for us this year. No, he wouldn't have. not with that offensive line, and Lamar Jackson has a lot to do with it. Because, we used to talk about playing 8 in the box and stacking the box against Derrick Henry. Well, you kind of have to do the same thing. You have to plan for both. You have 2 guys that you're trying to stop, and you can't stop them both at the same time. So that has a lot to do with it. I think Buffalo's on a mission. Josh Allen looks so relaxed and so calm. I watched his interview with Tracy Wolfson yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's a scary dude right now.
They've played great. And of course they beat Detroit on the road
and Kansas City. I think that was at home, but they've beaten both of them.
That's right. I don't know, something about they haven't faced this. If Lamar and Derek are going at a high level, it's going to be tough to stop that. And the Bills get lucky, man. They're a lot of passes. They get lucky. Guys escape, and they're lucky in the backfield, out in the flat. I mean, but again, we talk about I'd rather be lucky than good.
Sure.
But that's going to be a hell of a game. And I want both teams to win, because I like to see, Derrick Henry go far. But I'd also like to see the Bills get to the Super Bowl and win one. I mean, they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost 4 straight. I mean, that's almost impossible to do, and yet they did it. So it'd be good to see them get all the way and win it.
So my first choice is Buffalo, Detroit. That's the matchup I'd like to see. My second choice would be Buffalo, Minnesota, because it would be the only 2 teams that have lost 4 Super Bowls. Now, Minnesota didn't do it consecutively, but they were all kind of around the same time, I think. So that would be interesting. I just, I don't want Kansas City back.
I do. I think it's great because we've never had a three-peat.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a lot of factors and drama here.
KC and the Eagles, the rematch would be interesting.
That's happening.
I don't think Philly's getting there, though. Philly's a good team with a lot of talent. They just can't. It's like it's not clicking.
The A.J. Brown thing is just odd.
He had, what do you have, 1 catch?
But reading that book and being totally kind of disassociated with the team at certain moments on the sidelines is odd. It's just very, very. I don't think he'd be back next year.
I'd be calling New England.
Yeah, I don't think he's back next year. I mean, it's a problem. I mean, after the game, you weren't talking about how they beat the Packers. It's like, what the hell was A.J. Brown reading on the sidelines, and why was he doing that? That was all the talk. And then he shared the page with the reporter, and they tweeted it out, and it got all these views, and everybody's talking about it. But I'm telling you, man, that's you don't want that when you're making this run and you're not all in. You're not putting the team first. I don't want you.
Yeah.
See ya.
Speaking of the Patriots, they will introduce Mike Vrabel as their new head coach coming up today. The worst kept secret in all of anything is Mike Vrabel becomes the head coach of the New England Patriots. I don't know if you heard, I did go on with Robbie and Rextra because I got asked the same question.
Yeah, you were like a politician.
You don't like, I know.
You're 50-50.
You don't like no, look, I don't think it was like, hey, I'm going to go up here and take a shot at Amy. But I think Vrabel's very good at pot shots.
Let me set it up this way. And I hope Rex Road is listening so it finally gets through his thick skull. You get passed over for a job, all right? Vrabel wanted that GM job or wanted his buddy in there, right? He didn't want Rand in that position, right? Sure. Whatever you want to say. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, he wanted Ryan Cowden, who's going to be with him in New England.
So he did not want Rand in that position. So he gets overlooked. He gets voted over, right? So we're going to put Rand there and shut your mouth. Then you go someplace where you're honored, right? And you're able to take a pot shot and say that great leadership. I don't think he said ownership, but great leadership, great whatever the quote was. You're telling me that's not a shot at your boss who took that over? We do it all the time.
Okay, so
it's okay to do that. I mean, he did it. And what I'm told, she had no idea he was going up there. That's what I was told.
Well, that's on him.
What I was told. Okay?
I don't know if I 100% believe that, but
I don't know.
But I mean, how could you not know that? You're the owner, and somebody's got to call you, whether it's Vrabel or Kraft, and be like, hey, just so you know, he's going up there.
They said they was told back in the middle of the summer that she was informed in the middle of the summer, and then was not, when it came time, was not told again. Because that was like in June or May.
Well, you still told her.
We're going to make the announcement.
Yeah, hey, during the bye week, he's going up to be.
Or somebody told her, right?
Yeah, I mean.
So you go up. Do we have that? Can you play that? I want to hear it again. Just put it all out there.
Yeah, you got to give him a second.
I'm sorry. That's okay.
Yeah.
He'd be pointed at me.
I've been editing it for the last 20 minutes or so.
You're the best.
Oh, the Vrabel thing?
That along with Joe's comments to mash it all together.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we're spoiling your thunder, is what you're saying.
A little bit. It's
Okay,
okay, though.
well,
You know what? You put your masterpiece together, and then we will play it in its full because I don't want to take away from you.
Right.
Bless you.
Now you were saying.
I don't know. My thoughts ran away from me for a second.
We're doing that, man. I'm gonna run you down the radio dial.
Already have. That's okay. Anywho, no. What I was saying is, I think what you do in that situation is, I think there was a pot shot in there, but then you call her, hey, just so you know, like I love it here, but I had a lot of good times in New England. It's it's a well-run organization, and that's all I was saying. Apparently they never talked about it. And, I think there's enough evidence to tell you now that there are little things that set her off, and you got to be aware of that. And so I don't think he was actively trying to get fired by any means, but I don't know. I also think that he was, with his comments, basically, hey, if I ever am available, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hey, Bob, I would come back. So it was kind of like you like to say, staying one step ahead of the Jailers.
Yeah. Look, he spent 8 years there from 01 to 08. He loved it, won 3 Super Bowls, went to 4 Super Bowls while he was there, won 3. Well, I mean, it feels like home to him. They evidently they love Boston. And so it's going home. Good for him going back home and doing all that. I just think all that at that time what was going. Remember the next day they traded Kevin Byard.
Yeah.
That Monday, they traded Kevin Byard. So a lot of things went straight to where, and he was upset. You could tell he was upset on the draft of 2022 when he stormed around the draft room. I mean, so there's a lot of things that built up to that. They fired the general manager. Your team makes a free fall. But I just think that's a perfect spot for him to land up there. And I just think some of those shots were like, I get my chance now. And I can say, oh, it wasn't anything that I'm saying. He had a chance to really slam the franchise, and he did it in a awkward, very different way than coming out and just blasting the franchise. And that's where we are. So I hope that makes sense to you, Joe Rexrode.
Is Byard on a 1-year or 2-year deal with Chicago?
I thought it was a 1 year.
But
I don't know.
Would you not be shocked? Like, because what Vrabel's going to want to do, and all coaches do this, is bring in, especially if they have experience, bring in people they know to kind of help with the culture thing. Kevin Byard would be the first call.
Sure.
If he's available.
Yeah. Absolutely will. And what's that? Somebody, Jeffrey Simmons, liked the tweet about trade for Jeffrey Simmons.
Take him.
Goodbye,
Chad. If you're listening, which you're not,
probably. What's he doing right now?
If you could ran over to the phone and call New England, I would do that.
That becomes a $19 million Mike Vrabel problem. See ya. Goodbye.
Can you imagine it? Like, okay, I have a question for Titans fans. If next year on the Patriots, all of a sudden Kevin Byard's there, Jeff Simmons is there, AJ Brown is there, how are you going to feel about that? It's a hypothetical, but how are you going to feel about that with Mike Vrabel? 615-737-1025. We have a lot to discuss. Brett Kern going to join us at 10 o'clock today here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
But I also want you not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
That was Mike Vrabel when he was put in the New England Patriots Hall of Fame. It's
Come
not
on,
like
man.
It's not like this. Everybody, that was the pot shot. I mean, and I agree that was a pot shot, but I don't.
Well, what's a pot shot? You're taking a shot at somebody. Come to my side. It's okay. You can
play it again. Play it again. Now you got me. Play it again.
Not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm with you.
Come on. It's okay.
Here's the thing. Now that I've heard it again, you were a sitting head coach of another team.
Thank you. Getting paid by another organization.
Now, you could have, and I don't know exactly what happened, but had he walked off the podium and gone, I should probably call Amy. Like, I should probably let her know that, hey, just so you know that, like, that was not directed at you, even though it might have been. We don't know. We'll never know. He'll never say. He'll never tell. But he should have ran to the phone and called Amy and said,
and ran quickly
and called Amy and said, hey, just so you know, that wasn't directed anywhere. Here's
the thing with the pot shot.
Playing to the crowd.
You don't have to say that. Thank you. I enjoyed my time here, Mr. Kraft, with Tom, Super Bowls. It's okay to have affinity from where you were.
Sure.
Okay. But when you say enjoy this, it's not like this everywhere. I've been to a lot of places. Well, let's see where he's been. Kansas City as a player, Houston as a coach, and as a head coach of the Tennessee Titans. All right. He started with the Steelers as a player, went to the Patriots. I'm not counting the Steelers. I'm counting everything he did after that when he got out of football. So Houston and Tennessee, the head coach of the Titans. That was an absolute pot shot at the organization.
Look,
and who leads the organization? Amy Adams.
Amy Adams Strunk. As someone that has been known to give a pot shot or two, I like a good pot shot.
I mean, you ran quickly out of the studio to look up pot shots.
I did. So it's what I do. All right, you have Rex Rhodes comments as well.
I said it was a nothing burger.
You did.
And I was wrong. And Gentry asked us from the Tennessean, he said, man, I think I'm taking Stilly's side on this one. Okay. I was absolutely wrong. I've written about this in The Athletic. Amy did not take kindly to this.
Yep.
Amy Adams Strunk did not take kindly to this, and it was part of the story last year of Vrabel getting fired, and Vrabel should have in some way communicated to her, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, there needed to be better communication. He's not blameless, like you said. He could have done a better job. Was Mike Vrabel at that moment, because Joe thinks I'm the only person who thinks this, was Mike Vrabel at that moment taking a shot at Amy Adams Strunk?
I don't think so.
It's freaking idiotic. You idiots. But I don't want to influence your answer, folks. If you believe that, that's fine. I accept either answer.
Yeah, you got to be open to this.
But I want you to respond right now.
Who was he talking about?
What?
Who is he talking about?
He's talking about the Patriots.
I know.
Okay.
But he said it's not like that everywhere else. Who's he talking about?
He said I've been to a lot of places.
Is he talking about Steelers?
He's not talking about any other place. He's talking about how amazing the place is. It's not like this everywhere. Why is this so hard?
But if it's special there, it doesn't have to be not special somewhere else.
You're just trolling me now. You know that
I'm throwing it out there. If it's special there, is it not special elsewhere?
Well, I would definitely, if you want to really boil it down, it sounds like he was saying it's more special than Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Tennessee and Houston. Those are the other 4 places he'd been.
I know.
Okay. But again, this is the day that he's inducted in their Hall of Fame. So he said something nice about them, and people take it as they still, Ricky's on Twitter. It's like, God, you're so delusional. What are you talking about?
Okay, Joe, in a court of law, I would absolutely destroy you. If it wasn't at Amy Adams, why do you feel the need that Vrabel has to apologize to her? If it wasn't a shot at Amy Adams, why do you feel, Joe Rexrode, that you have to apologize to Amy Adams? Case closed, code red, crystal clear. Did you order the code red? You're damn right I did. The witness has rights, whatever you want to talk about. You lost. You lost. If he wasn't taking a shot at Amy Adams, why do you say he has to apologize to her? I'm done. I win. Thank you very much, Judge Judy. Now it's time for Fox 17 News at 5:30. All right.
No, it's time to go to the phone. 615-737-1025. Our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. Dustin wants to weigh in. Dustin, what's up?
What's up, guys? I'm going to say two things. You're going to have to give me just a minute because I'm about to eat Joe's lunch.
Wait. Which Joe? Which Joe?
On the previous show.
Thank you. Take all the time you need.
All right. Here's the thing. We hired a man because of the Patriot way. What is the Patriots known to do? To say very little, and when they do say it, it's methodical, and they do just what they're doing here. They leave a crumb, and it makes a dang smorgasbord. All right? So you're telling me Mike Vrabel, probably the best coach the Tennessee Titans have ever had, raises men or boys into men and tells them to shut their dang mouth? I'm going to take your nothing burger. I'm going to take your breakfast and lunch, Joe. I'm going to eat it right now and leave you hungry. All right? So, Vrabel, the Patriot way. Come from the Patriot way. You're telling me Vrabel is either unintelligent or he did it on purpose. That's what I'm going to take, because Vrabel is not an unintelligent man. All right? And the fact that all these things happened, he did it while working with the Titans in a losing season. And let me tell you, that was a Patriot thing, too. Let's go ahead and get him in here while they're losing to put him into the Hall of Fame. Couldn't wait till the off season. Okay, so Vrabel is either ignorant or unintelligent or did it on purpose. The man did it on purpose. He took a shot, left it open-ended, the smallest of shots, and here we are just feeding off of it. And didn't say he's sorry to his organization. He knew from the minute they hired Ran Carthon, it was over. He was ticked when they traded A.J. Brown. You've seen it on his face. This man said, this organization is a dumpster fire. Thank you for giving me a heavy resume with a terrible organization, and a terrible, well, I'll say, an incompetent owner. I think she wants the team to win, but I'm telling you, she doesn't have the formula. She has the formula for a losing team. Okay, here's my second piece. Now that I know, I've become okay with the Titans losing, but I'm not okay with staying anymore. All right, so what team am I going to go to? Am I going to go to a winning team? No, because everybody's, they're already winning. That's what the Patriots fans did when Tom Brady left. Nope, I'm going to go to that team that was fighting for the number one draft pick this year, that's got Mike Vrabel, and yes, he is going to go after Simmons. He's going to take our good players every chance he gets, and he's going to laugh about it. This is an intelligent, methodical man, the Patriot way. Wake up, Joe Rexrode. Thank you.
All right, Dustin. Woo! Thank you. That was good. Appreciate you. I'm going to be honest with you. He said at the very end, he goes, he's going to take our good players. He can have them.
Yo, give me who's a good player?
He can have, look, this is what everybody needs to understand.
Right.
It's a bleep show organization. At this point, take the grenade, pull the pin out, and throw it in. Blow it up. And to be a nerd and quote Star Trek First Contact, John Luke, blow up the damn ship. That's what they need to do. Like, just blow it up. Take Jeffrey Simmons, trade him. Like, name the best players on this team. Simmons is one of them.
That's a good question, man. I think Ridley's a good receiver.
Yep. Okay. He's on the block.
I think everybody should be on the block.
Right. But I'm at, okay. There's not many players you're going to get much for. I'll
take Latham and Skoronski. I mean, I know it's
keep the young guys, keep them. But I
get what you're saying.
Take calls on Simmons, take calls on Landry, take calls on Ridley, take calls on, some of the hurt guys. Like, again, you're not going to get much to anything. And I understand that. But at this point, just get what you can, clear the money, clear the old guys out, and just start over.
Sometimes you have to do that.
And go in if Amy truly trusts Brinker and has given Brinker the keys to the car, say, look, do what you want to do. You know you're going to fire the coach after a year because that's what happens. This new GM that's coming in, you got to understand what you're signing up for, that somebody else could get fired. But
Right.
like, this is where you're at with this team. Just blow it up.
I'm with you.
Blow it up.
I mean, and say, look, it's okay to say, look, we're rebuilding, not reloading. We're rebuilding. And who knows what could happen. And then, you get out there, get the PR message, make it feel good and sound good, and go forward. And, the guys want to be here, move on. But if you're trading to Simmons or Landry, you get maximum return, whatever it is. You give me your 5th, 6th, and 7th, I'll take them.
Sure.
Oh, I want a second rounder.
Draft capital is draft capital.
Yeah.
Sure. You start out you start out asking for that, but if you want a hamster, start out asking for a horse.
You just come up with that?
No, it's an old saying.
I like it.
I ran in my book of sayings.
Yeah, I saw you get out. I said, he ran out of here quickly. And I thought you were running down the dial. I mean, I thought you were running down the hallway. And I was like, where's he going? So there we go. So it's settled. Judge Judy ruled. And then Rexrode lost. That's simple. Okay.
I will say
the fact that I got you come to my side is great.
You did. And I will say this, as I'm the co-host of this show, and I have fun, but I'm also the boss man, as you like to put it.
Yeah.
And I like this, though. I like disagreements, healthy disagreements
That's
amongst the
it.
shows. If I got to step in, if things get a little too far, then I'll step in, but I don't think that'll happen.
No,
It's okay.
I'm the biggest Robbie and Rexrode fan. I listen every morning at the gym. I love the show, love the guys. Sometimes we disagree. It's not look, the mafia, right, Dr. Crane? It ain't personal, brother.
Just business.
Just business.
That's it.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Continue the discussion on Mike Vrabel and the Titans and everything. It's all on the table here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 1025, 1063. The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Joe, you been reading any good books lately?
I have. I was going to ask you, what's a good book to read? I mean, I sometimes I read 2 or 3 books at a time. Thank you, Michael, for letting me know through those books out there. So I'll read 2 or 3 books at a time. That's kind of, space myself out. When I'm flying on a plane, instead of sleeping, I'll read a book. And so it all works out pretty good.
One day I ran over to McKay's and
oh yeah, how'd that go?
Love to do that at McKay's and get a few books. I don't know. I haven't read any good ones lately. I need some good ones. So give me some. If you know any good books to read, let me know. Maybe the Bible. That's always a good one.
There's one. It's the Lost Art of Running. That's something I've looked into.
It's really good
because I got that weird thing with my foot when
you
ran. It hurt. Yeah, when I ran. Yeah.
And then you recommended Ownership for Dummies, right? Wasn't that a book that
I did?
Yeah. So thank you for that.
I offered that over the weekend. I said, listen, if I want to get hired somewhere and they want to fire me a year later, I'm cool with a 4-year severance package.
And I ran right over and grabbed the book.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Good times.
615-737-1025. If you know, you know. Kevin in Florida is mad at us this morning.
Kevin, you're a big fan. Stop it.
Yeah, he said we sound like The View, and then he's going to go listen to a show that's not on yet. So that's fine. We love you, Kevin. Stay with us.
All right.
Please don't ran away.
I'm not familiar with The View. What is that?
I don't know. Some show
that goes on. But it's just, we're all reacting. Vrabel gets the job, and now he's coming here in the fall. And I hope it's that, and I agree with what Robbie and Rex said, or maybe you said it. It's the first Thursday night game. And look, we're all in the middle of all this. We love it with Vrabel coming here. But I'm telling you, outside our little bubble and Boston's little bubble, nobody cares about the Patriots and Titans. And the damn networks aren't going to put 1-3-14, 1-4-13 team on Sunday night. It'll be a Thursday night game. Bring it here. The return of the meathead, Mike Vrabel.
Okay, when did you say it should be?
That first Thursday.
So that's what I put on Twitter last night. So we're on the same.
Okay, yeah.
So it'd be week 2.
Week 2.
Yeah. So the Titans home opener, the Titans home opener, Thursday night in prime time, Vrabel's return.
Yep.
So I like that. I like when we agree.
So let me ask you this. Do they do a Vrabel tribute video after all that's gone down?
Ooh.
I say you do because it rubs it in a little bit more.
No. I think you do.
If you don't do a tribute video, Vrabel's in your head.
Listen, he's the second most winningest coach in your franchise's history. Like, you can't just be. I'm all about being petty, but you cannot run away from that. You have got to just acknowledge that. So yeah, I think so. I think you do it. You make a nice little video. You do it in the first quarter or whatever. He'll give a half-ass wave and then you move on.
Yep.
Okay. I say that. I think he's mad, obviously, at the organization. I think he'll acknowledge the fans.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. And we talked about how at the end of the first quarter, the whole team needs to turn around and wave at Amy like they do in Iowa.
Dude.
Just wave at Amy. If you had him do that, there will be some pettiness involved with him. I don't think he can hold it back. I think they'll be all professional. Here's the best part. Aren't the coaches, I'm not over there, and Paul and Joe know this, aren't the coaches offered up to the local media the week before?
Yes. Like a conference call. So here's my question. Between now and whenever they play here, do you think he will come on either one of the radio stations?
Zero.
I think he will.
I don't think he will. I think he thinks he's big enough, bad enough, and not going to deal with it.
I just have a funny feeling that I think he will. I think he'll do an interview.
Okay. Now, we saw Dr. Crane. You saw the video he's talking there of Vrabel at the craps table, right, Dr. Crane? Did you see that too?
Yeah,
online.
That made me laugh, right? I mean, that was funny.
Everybody's like, he's in Vegas. I'm like, okay.
He's got a house out west somewhere, like a Tahoe or Utah or something. So it's fine. I like the petty. I like the drama when I'm not involved. So when he comes back here in the fall, I mean, it gives us all to look forward to. And now, when free agency hits in March, which Titans players are going to go up there and play for him, what trades happen. I mean, this is fun. This is all fun that's coming ahead for us.
Oh, it is. Let's go to our phones. Chad, I mean, is this Chad Brinker? That'd be great if this is Chad Brinker has a book recommendation. Hi, Chad.
It's not Chad Brinker, but that's
Dang.
pretty cool. Yeah, John Grisham, I read it like I'm about to be 40 years old. So I read it when I was like 19 or 18. And it was one of the best books I could read. It took me like 3 days to read it, but he's a really good author. He made a lot of
Which
books.
book?
The Lawyer, John Grisham, The Firm.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That's a good movie, too.
It's a very good book. The
Hey,
Lawyer.
Chad.
Yeah, they made a movie out of it, but it was.
Chad,
It
they
wasn't
made the
a good
movie
book.
with Tom Cruise, right?
Which one?
The Firm.
I never seen that movie.
Well, in the book, Tom Cruise plays Mitch McDeere, who's the lawyer. Do you remember in the book where he played college quarterback? We went to college and played quarterback.
Yeah, but that should have not been in that book.
All right, Austin P. Anyway,
Cool. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chad. Hold on. Chad says he's 74. He read a Grisham book when he was 18. That was 56 years ago. So The Firm came out in 1968. Interesting.
Did it?
No, it came out in like 1990.
The book?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
I don't read a lot of books, man.
You just said you did. I'm reading 2 or 3 right now.
No, I was just going with the bit. I don't like to read.
I know, but you do it. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I think a lot of people that say they are reading books
You ever
probably
read?
don't.
What do you do? Do you read books on the plane or you just sleep?
What do you do?
I think I know the answer here.
Actually, I sleep in the car. On the plane, I'll like start to fall asleep and then I keep waking up.
Let me tell folks, all right? We drove from Miami to Key West, which is a 3-hour drive. It's the most beautiful
nap ever.
scenery in America. This dude next to me slept the entire way. It was so beautiful.
And you know what? It's because I was at peace.
That's right.
I was surrounded by God. I was with someone I trusted.
thank
I
you.
knew you were going to take care of me. It was the best sleep I had in a long time.
It was.
It was so peaceful.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Look, I sleep in my mom heard you talking about that and said, I used to drive around the neighborhood to get you to go to sleep because I would fall asleep in the car.
And that was you at 24.
Yeah, that was like
That
like last week. I mean, like it just
Oh my Lord.
So what I'm gonna do when I have trouble sleeping, I'm gonna call you. Hey, will you go drive around and so I can
Or
fall
just
asleep?
I'll recommend you 2 good books that you're reading.
Oh, okay.
Right
That'd
now.
be great. Well, I'll call somebody for that. Got some good recs.
All right.
615-737-1025. All right. Kevin in Florida is still with us. He says Vrabel return, Vrabel versus Callahan and Aaron Rodgers. That'd be interesting if
I
Aaron
love
Rodgers
it.
was here.
I'm telling you.
At this point, I just give me the I don't care.
Make it a circus.
You give me the circus.
Make it a gigantic circus. Rodgers, whomever, Vrabel, chaos going on. Make it a giant. Let us enjoy this. Right? The status quo is bleh. Let us enjoy all this.
Matt in Nashville has an interesting text about Amy in the tribute video. I'll read it coming up next. Chasing Big Joe on this Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. What did you learn in your experience? What books are you going to read? That's what you can get. That'll put some butts in the seats. But over here, Chasing Big Joe, the ball bounces our way, and we have a good time every weekday from 9 to 11. Dr. Crane on the 1s and 2s as well.
Good times.
What's
as
up,
always,
JoJo?
man?
Let's go back to the text line because there was a good one here from Matt in Nashville. No way in hell Amy does a tribute video to him. And yes, you better hope this game is scheduled early in the season. Otherwise, our fan base is going to be checked out and we get embarrassed by Vrabel in front of an empty stadium. I find it interesting. Look, I can't predict what she's going to do. I know if I'm advising her, and it appears she's got two that are big advisors. If I'm them, I say, no, do the video. Go take the high road, do the video, and mess with him. You know, make it this big to-do of how much we appreciate Mike Vrabel and love Mike Vrabel and all this stuff. I think videos sometimes are overdone, but he kind of deserves one. And you're doing it more for the fans than anything else. And it's a psychological thing. Now, it's not going to work on him, but you still try. So I think you do it. Now, she also better hope the NFL does schedule it earlier in the season, and everybody else in the organization better hope that she schedules it earlier in the season, especially if you're Brian Callahan, because if it's later in the season and he comes in here and beats that ass, which I think he's going to do, somebody's going to get fired.
I do the tribute video. Absolutely. Just take the high road. That's what'll happen. But you know, if he goes on a radio shows during the summer and slams organization, then who knows what's going to happen. But look, you don't dispute the time here. You know, when he came here, he took over Malarkey. And you look, you know, I trailed this weekend. The Titans have only won 2 home playoff games ever. They've only won 2 home playoff games. Isn't that a crazy stat?
Wait, the Titans
have only won 2 home playoff games. So Vrabel came in 18. They almost went to the finals, but Mariota's quote-unquote shoulder or whatever was hurting. He couldn't play that day. Whatever you think about that. And then 19, the nice run. 20, the Ravens beat him. 21, they dropped the Bengals. So, yeah, look, there was some failure here with him, but also they were competitive. That's my thing. They were a competitive football team. I don't mean this guy went back and forth on Twitter yesterday about, Vrabel sucked. All right, yeah, he didn't get the results done. A lot of coaches don't. But you went into the football game knowing they were competitive. And when they fired John Robinson after the Eagles game, that shocked the whole locker. Like, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, that was something you had to deal with. And then the season went into the tank. And then 23, you know, with Rand coming in and Vrabel didn't like him, what was going on, the direction. Yeah, there's a lot of going on that you have to worry about besides coaching. So, but don't dispute the fact that that football team for 18, 19, 20, for 5 seasons was competitive.
I know.
They were competitive. Now they're an absolute unprepared joke.
I love how, number one, David says, no, he doesn't need a video that makes us look like simps. I don't think so.
Phil Simms?
Simps.
Oh, okay.
Because video, by the way,
go ahead.
Now you distracted me. Did you notice yesterday they acknowledged Jim Nantz at his 500th NFL game?
I did not.
They did that in the broadcast. He acknowledged everybody but Phil Simms.
Really?
He never brought up Phil Simms. I thought that was interesting.
They used to date or something?
Well, they did a lot of games together.
Okay.
So anyway, now I lost my train of thought. Dang it.
Jim Nantz.
No. Vrabel.
Competitive football teams.
Everybody wants to be like, well, he went 6-11 and 5-12 or whatever in his last couple of seasons. And then, you know, everybody hates on J-Rob too because of the last few drafts. Do y'all just forget all the good stuff? I mean, he got a team to be the number 1 seed using 93 players.
Right.
Which John found. That's pretty damn impressive. Like, you don't want to be in that position because you drafted hurt guys or you signed hurt guys or whatever, but you still were the number 1 seed.
That's right.
With all of that. Y'all seem to forget that. Like, and then the quarterback threw 3 interceptions. That's not on the coach or the GM. That's on the quarterback. So
They had, 9 sacks?
yeah, and the defense got 9 sacks. I mean, it's just amazing to me what people want to see and what they don't. You know, and then everybody complains about narratives. Y'all create a lot of narratives in your own mind.
Yep.
I'm not talking to everybody, but I'm talking to a good chunk of you. Like, you see what you want to see sometimes.
That's right. And so 19, he goes up there. You knock Belichick out. Brady's last game of the Patriots. You beat the Ravens. You were up 14-0 to Kansas City until you realize that your defense is afraid to tackle in the AFC Championship game. 20s COVID. You still make the playoffs then. That was a nightmare. And if you're right, 21, you're the number 1 seed. And it went wrong. A lot of number 1 seeds lose that game. That's okay. But they were competitive.
Right.
And they fought.
David just said, then we shouldn't have fired him. No,
right?
Crap.
Well, you said it last week.
I didn't fire him in the week.
No, but you said it well. They fired the coach who said the GM wasn't any good. Then a year later, you fire the GM who your fired coach said wasn't any good. And that's what happened. So, yeah.
And you did everything that the fired coach said you should do.
Right. Yes.
You brought in hey, I kind of think the report was, hey, I kind of think we need like a president of football. Like, you have Burke over here. This is a business guy. We kind of need one of those for football. You know, that way I coach and, he's the GM, but you have somebody that kind of break the ties. No, that's a dumb idea. You're fired. Oh, hey, let's make this guy that was the assistant that the GM hired. We're going to make him now the president. And then a year later, we're going to fire the guy that, he brought in this guy.
Yeah, keep going.
Like, I mean, that's what this is right now.
That's exactly what it is. And look, I'm not Mike Vrabel's biggest fan. I don't know him. But
no, he wasn't perfect. And yeah, he pissed me off sometimes.
But the fact we want to make these coaches like our friends, you think Bill Parcells was your friend? You think Ditka was your friend? Jimmy Johnson was a tyrant. Yes. I mean, these are all men who just want to win football games and don't give a damn what you think.
I'm glad
Vrabel's the same way.
Dustin in Hopkinsville, he won with the injured rosters 2 years in a row with Tannehill. Come on. He did.
Yep.
He did. And then everybody wants to go, oh yeah, but then he went 6-11 and 5-12. Okay. Like, see, this is just
where was the 5-12?
You were or what was it for? Was it 4-13? What was the last year?
6-11.
6-11.
That was it. Then he was gone. Yeah.
So he had one losing season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it. Yep. I don't remember what 18 was. 18, they came down to the final game to get in, and you had to put in Blaine Gabbert because Mariota couldn't or wouldn't play or whatever what happened there. But then again, I go back. You cannot argue me that those teams were not competitive.
What they do? No, the year that Robinson got fired in the middle of the season, what were they? Were they 7-10?
I don't remember, but would they lose the last 4 or 5?
Now I gotta go look.
And then 13 was 23 was all disrupted because of the fight of hiring Rand, and nobody, they knew Rand wasn't qualified. They knew Rand was not qualified for the job, and they hired him anyway.
7-10 and 22, 6-11 and 23. Then he's fired.
So 7-10 and 20. What was the record after the Eagles game? 7-5.
Just a moment.
Okay.
So let's see. When was this?
22.
Okay, so they were 7-5. They lost to the Eagles. The week before they had lost to the Bengals, so 7-4. They were 7-5 after the Eagles. Yeah, they didn't win another game,
but still almost made the playoffs.
They did.
Came down because the quarterback was getting in there and doing all that. You take another
Tannehill
team
got hurt,
and you fire your GM, blindside everyone. Fire your GM in the middle of the season. See how your football team reacts. And don't think it's no big deal. That's all they talked about in the locker room. Like, what the hell happened? Our GM's gone because we lost. That's going to affect the football team. I'm sorry, it does. And you saw
100%.
the result.
100%. I am glad that I'm fired up now because Brett Kern can get in on this conversation. He's coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game here on this Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. A lot of spirited discussions. No softballs here today. We ran away from those for sure.
0.
Let's bring in our buddy Brett Kern, former Titans punter, who is on the line with us. Brett, how you doing?
Good. You can still strike out with softball questions.
That's true. You certainly can. But
I've seen some pretty big whiffs on softball pitches back in the old Coach Fisher charity softball tournament. So a lot of back muscles pulled in that thing.
Hey, you've never ran away from the tough questions, Brett, and we always appreciate that with you. Let's start with Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. Your thoughts on that? It's obviously not very hard to figure out that was probably where this was going to go when Gerard Mayo was shown the door after 1 year. But you played for him for a long time. What are the Patriots getting in Mike Vrabel as their head coach?
Yeah, I mean, Robert Kraft's probably pretty happy in the sense of I remember we were talking about first-round pick for Vrabel and all that kind of stuff. And, he was just kind of patient through the whole situation. You feel bad for Mayo because obviously he didn't have a great season this year. And, it was kind of a bridge coach, which stinks, right? But, the Patriots, obviously we know firsthand with when Vrabel was here, they're going to get a team that's they're going to be situationally sound, right? Kind of know what to do. And in every situation, he's going to go over that stuff all the time. They're going to be tough, physical, competitive, all the words that he said in his interviews over the years, right? And so, good for them, good for the Patriots. He knows the culture up there. He obviously knows ownership, all that kind of stuff. And so, you kind of feel like it was a match that has been, kind of brewing for a long time, and now it's finally happened.
Like I mentioned, you played for him, and I saw Taylor Lewan put out a video that I laughed at, but I thought there was some good stuff in there. I mean, like he was probably telling some truths. I know that he might have been tough to play for at times, but you guys also did a lot of winning under him. I mean, you went to the AFC Championship game. You were the number 1 seed with 93 players on the roster. I think people might forget that sometimes that's pretty hard to do. And the fact that you had 9 sacks in that playoff game. I know that, Tannehill threw 3 picks and that was tough against the Bengals, but I think people kind of forget that he was handed some tough situations, and yet you all did a lot of winning.
Yeah, and I think that just starts with, how he prepared us. Like I said, his meetings, I've been a part where some team meetings are 3-4 minutes long, right? And Vrabel's, you could pretty much account for, half hour to 45 minutes. And Taylor was spot on. You'd start to clam up, you'd start to get nervous because you didn't know he was going to ask questions about everything from, who's the janitor's name to, if you're on offense, what's the third special teams key? He just wanted everybody on the same page. He wanted everybody to be prepared. He wanted to know what other people's jobs were, whether you're on offense, you need to know defense, you need to know special teams. Like we're a team, we're a unit. And he wanted everybody to be, like I said, on the same page. Right. And so you would get nervous as all get out because you had no idea what questions were going to be asked. It could be, he could pop up a play from a game that happened 2 years ago and said, hey, what is this team supposed to do in this situation? Right. And it might be a punt situation and you're trying to bleed the clock, run the clock down, and he's asking an offensive lineman. Right. And so everybody had to be prepared. Everybody had to know. And that's, for me personally, that's how, football, you start learning a lot about football because you're learning, all these things on offense, defense, situations, all that kind of stuff. And that was every team meeting. Right. And so that's how he approaches things. And so when guys would come in, he had a way of motivating guys, right? Like very, very next man up mentality. So if you were a starter and you were making $20 million a year and you got hurt, he'd look the guy, that was on practice squad saying, he got hurt. Like that, this is football. Everybody gets hurt. Now it's your turn. And he would have a way of motivating guys, to go out there and try to make a name for themselves. So, this is what the Patriots are getting. And Taylor's video was spot on. I watched that thing 2 or 3 times, just laughing and texting former teammates. And it's like, this video is spot on, Taylor.
We're talking to Brett Kern, former Titans punter, who spent, I guess, 5 seasons with Vrabel, right? 18 to 22. Is that correct?
That sounds right.
Yeah, with that. So I know you've said this before. Give me one time when Vrabel absolutely chewed your ass.
Oh, yeah. That was at Green Bay. It was at Green Bay on Sunday Night Football in the snowstorm, and there was no fans in the stands. And so everything like echoed through Lambeau.
Was that the first game against LaFleur?
Gosh, no, I don't think so, because that would have been 2020. Didn't we play them in a preseason game? I remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Prior to that. But yeah, that was just a moment where, I didn't execute, how he wanted me to. And he put very specific goals and expectations on players. And so for me, it was, I needed to punt that ball inside the 10-yard line. He didn't care if it was inside the 20, because that's what the NFL stat keeps, but it was inside the 10, because he would tell me, hey, if the team starts from the 10-yard line, to the goal line, there's only like a 4.2% chance that they're going to get any points. He's like, but if you go from the 10 to the 20, all of a sudden that bumps up to like 24% chance of points. And that's, and he would go on about it. And it's like, yeah, okay. So I did not execute my job in that specific moment. And it rung through Lambeau, and I think it's still ringing in my ears today.
You talked about in the meetings with him. Tell me, do you remember the first meeting after he was announced as head coach? Because I'm sure he walked in, they all lay out their plan. What was it like the first time he came as head coach and spoke to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was very straightforward that, it's people are going to get hurt, next man up. Our job here is to get, younger, cheaper, better. I mean, he just kind of laid out what was in front, and guys were just like, Taylor said in that video, like you went in the locker room and you created like these little small groups of just like, what did we just experience? What just happened? But it was consistent. I mean, that the meeting that he had, our first meeting overall, was consistent through the whole time he was, obviously a coach of the Titans. And so, hey, our job is to go younger, cheaper for you older guys, right? Younger guys, go try to win a job, right? Prove that you can play in this league. And so, it was, the meeting that he had the first go around, that was probably repeated multiple times because the message was consistent.
Well, that's good. All right. I don't know if you've heard when Vrabel went to New England and the comments he made up there. Have you heard those, right?
Yeah, I think I remember talking about it on the show with you guys after it happened.
And just your thoughts, because we're arguing, it's because at the time, I think it was a slam at where he was. And the fact that he did that as head coach of another franchise didn't set well with me, but that's just me. What were your thoughts as a former player and a guy who knows Vrabel well when your head coach goes to another organization and says that? What's your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, that has never happened, when I was playing. That never happened in my career, right? And so, but, congratulations to him for getting in the Ring of Honor, right? I mean, that's not easy to do, but, I think his comments were, he was just expressing how he was feeling, right? And, some people are going to take it one way and other people are going to take it another way. And I think that's how Vrabel works. He says things that make you think. Even in team meetings, it'd be the same way. He would say something and, you'd be thinking about it, 2 hours later or 3 hours later at practice. And, that's just how he operates. So, people might say, man, good for him. He spoke the truth. And other people might say, man, wrong to do that. That's just not right at the time. Right. But Vrabel's going to say what he thinks and he's going to say how he feels. And, obviously he chose to say what he wanted to say in front of, in his ceremony. So, that's Vrabel.
We're talking to Brett Kern, former Titans punter, here on the show. When you see the things that are going on with the Titans now, with everything with Ran and now Chad Brinker, and they're a GM search, and there seems to be weird things that happen behind the scene. I mean, things are not good. They got the number 1 pick. As a former player, how much does that that suck and hurt you because you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this franchise. You went through some bad times with Whisenhunt and that whole era. So when you see things going on right now, how does it make you feel as a former player?
I mean, honestly, like I think what you want as a player, or even somebody that has a job, the business world, right? It's not just NFL, right? I think, as a player, what you want is accountability, because as a player, you were held to such a high standard, and it was pretty clear cut. Like, was the punt good or was it not, right? Did I catch the ball or did I not, right? And there's obviously things that go a lot deeper, blocking schemes and all kind of stuff. You do it right or not, but you were held to a high standard, as a player. And if you did it right, you kept your job, and if you didn't, some mistakes would get you cut. Some would, you'd have to take, you might lose your starting role, but it was different, right? And I think you just want accountability, and I think you want that from the top to the bottom. And so when it starts to get a little murky, right, and as a player, you're held to a certain standard, and then potentially, it starts maybe coaches. I've been on staffs where the coaches weren't really held accountable, and they would just throw players under the bus, and that's a terrible feeling. And then maybe maybe it's fine with the coaches. Coaches and players have a great rapport, and then you get to management, and it's the same way. Like, there's no clear job titles. There's, the accountability is not really there, and it becomes mushy, right? And then all of a sudden people start pointing fingers at each other, and then that creates a toxic environment, which then leads to people not trusting each other, right? Where if you're accountable from the top to the bottom, everybody has a job title, what's going on, everything's happening, that creates trust. And that's what you want. You want accountability, which then creates trust. And so I think as a player, that's all that you want, right? And so, whether it's not, if it's just the Titans, there's other organizations or in the business world, it happens. And so like I said, as a player, you just want accountability so that you can trust the people that you're playing with. You can trust the people that are coaching you, and then you trust the people that are making the decisions that, are above you. And I think that's what it really boils down to.
We're talking to former Titans punter Brett Kern on the Chase and McJoe show. Brett, when you were released in 2022, that was under John Robinson. How did he do it? Did he come call you in his office? Did you meet you in the parking lot? How did that all come about? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew the situation, with obviously Stonehouse and the way he was punting, and I was starting to get less reps, and I knew what my contract was, and I had nothing, I could get cut, and there was no cap hit or anything like that, right? And so I knew I had a pretty big target on my back, and that last preseason game, I didn't play at all, and so I remember going over to one of John's assistants, and I said, "Hey man, like I know they're writing on the wall. I know cut day's Tuesday, but can you let me come in Monday so I can talk to John and I can just say bye to people that I've had relationships with for 13 years in that building, right? Instead of just, coming in on Tuesday, you get your trash bag, you fill it up, you're in and out in a half an hour, and then that's that, right? And so, he was like, dude, of course, man. Like, you can come in Monday.
They did you
so
right. I feel like they did right by you.
Yeah, absolutely. Compared to I was talking to my wife about it this morning, like in Denver, my second year, Josh McDaniels he had a lot of the power, right? And I remember getting cut and had my trash bag, and I'm coming out, and the GM is walking in from his car. He's like, "Hey man, Brett, what's going on?" I'm like, "Why do you got a trash bag?" Like, he had no idea I was getting cut.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
And so, you talk about, we talked about earlier about, management and what roles are what, and all the communication and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, and when it's not there, the players see it, because here we are, at Denver, 6-0, and then all of a sudden I get cut, and the players see that, and they're like, "Well, wait a second." And it's no surprise to me, not because I got cut, like, hear me on this, but when players see that kind of situation going on, there becomes a lack of trust, right? Like, oh, who's he going to do this to next? And so they went 2-8 to finish out the year. And that's no surprise to me, right? Just of how that works. But yeah, I mean, I went in, talked to John. We had a great conversation. Went and talked to Vrabel for, 10, 15 minutes, another great conversation. And then, I was probably there for an hour and a half just to go around to people that I love and adore over there, that I've gotten to know over 13 years, and just tell them bye, tell them thank you for everything that they've done for me and to help me out in my career. just, give them hugs and all that kind of stuff. And then, you get your trash bag and and off you go.
Yeah, Vrabel's telling J-Rob, this guy won't leave. How do we get Kern out of this damn building? He keeps hugging everybody. Let me ask you real quick. How was it with Vrabel though? I mean, that was your last interaction basically. Was he forthright? Was he sorry? Was he like, hey, thank you? How was that?
Yeah, I mean, he was just, he was just thanking me for everything that I had done for him and just kind of being a consistent player, somebody that he could count on, and just kind of said, business is the business. I was like, man, I know this is the business. You've clearly outlined that they're trying to go younger and cheaper.
Right.
I get it. So, at least you're consistent with your message and you're actually doing it. So
I was going to ask you, in the back of your mind, were you going to get Taylor Lewan, and we're going to have like a Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan thing with Stonehouse?
No,
because I think Lewan's the one guy that would have been on your side to take.
Yeah, Brad, I got you, man. Come on.
No, I just, I mean, it comes to a point where you're like, hey, this is the business. Like, they're trying to get younger and cheaper. And, Stonehouse is like, you can't let somebody like Stonehouse just, if they would have cut him, he wouldn't have made it to practice squad. He would have gone to another team.
Right.
And I had 1 year left in my contract, and I was planning on retiring after that one. I wanted to finish as a Titan, but obviously it didn't work that way, and that's okay. Right. But you obviously have a chance to get a punter of the future, and it just came probably a year earlier than they thought. Right. And that's just a business. That's the way it is. And that's why, every year you put in the effort, the work, all that kind of stuff, because you never know, who's going to come up and try to take your job. Right. And the moment you slack and you think, oh, hey, I made a Pro Bowl, I'm good to go. Right. Is the moment that you get caught. Right. So I just kept grinding, and, you just keep going, because somebody like Stonehouse comes and it's like, yeah, hey man, this kid beat me out. Right. He's got a stronger leg. It is what it is. So, as 36, 7-year-old guy trying to compete with somebody that's 23, it's hard. So, that's part of the business, and that's the way it went.
Well, and look, I remember us talking around that time too, and how crazy it was. And then you got to go play with the Eagles and an NFC championship, and they went to the Super Bowl and all that. So, I'm sure that was fun.
I was upset last night because we were watching the game and that kickoff hit the wire, and the kid got to redo it. And then, I hit the wire in the NFC Championship game, and they said they had no evidence of hitting the wire, so that the play had to count. So that was kind of frustrating last night. But I thought, my goal coming out of college was to get maybe a workout, and I was like, man, I could play in NFL Europe. That's my goal, NFL Europe. And then what happens? The league dissolves my senior year in college. I'm like, oh, this is it.
Hey, though, real quick though, shout out to the Toledo punter who put on social media that he's declaring for the workforce. Was that the guy? Is that your guy? Have you seen this?
I don't know. I'm not on social media, so I have no idea. I have buddies that send me stuff. Send me the Taylor clip and all the funny things.
You're a smart man.
I send you other people.
Well, there's a Toledo punter who says, people like, I've decided to declare for the draft. He said, I've decided to declare for the workforce. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Please, no questions at this time. It's well done. It's got, a couple million hits on there. But shout out to the Toledo punters, man.
Hey, you know what? That's how we do it, right? We're hardworking, guys that clearly know that we go to Toledo, right? So the odds of us making it to the NFL are pretty slim. And so if I didn't make it to the NFL, I would have made one heck of a head caddy master at Inverness Golf Club. But
hey,
thankfully the NFL worked out. So
it all worked out for sure. Always appreciate it, Brett. I know we'll be talking a lot during the off season.
Sounds good. Y'all take care.
Yeah. Brett Kern, former Titans punter, joining us on the show. Always appreciate his insight, because look, for answering real questions. So
real questions, not just what books he's been reading.
Yeah,
I love the fact that it's funny that Vrabel just jumped him during the COVID game in Green Bay when nobody's there and you could hear it. Those moments are great. I love it when coaches just get on players that usually don't get harassed, like a punter.
For sure.
It's great.
For sure. We'll continue the discussion on the Titans and the Vrabel stuff. Also, another former member of the Titans is heading to New England, which I find to be interesting. Discuss that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Monday. Appreciate Brett Kern for joining us. We went a little long with him, but a lot of stuff to cover there with Vrabel and the Titans. I do think it's interesting when you listen to former players talk about, that actually care about the franchise, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
Of wanting to see them do well. By the way, the other Titan that I mentioned going to New England is going to be Ryan Cowden, who was one of J-Rob's right-hand men. Basically, I guess he was the assistant GM. He's going to join their front office in some capacity. He and Vrabel were pretty tight, so that's not really a surprise that Ryan Cowden will be headed to New England.
Oh, good.
So already putting some familiar places or familiar faces in place with Mike Vrabel. So,
well, I mean, look, surround yourself with the people that you love and trust and are on the same path as you are. So good for him. I see a lot more going to go up there and do that.
Yeah, I do find it. I mean, it's funny though. Like, Steven, who tweets at us quite a bit, clearly does not like Mike Vrabel. Is just anti-Vrabel all the way. Says, he's taken over one of the worst teams in the league. Last time around, he was handed a playoff roster. He was. I mean, that's true. He was. They won a playoff game under Mike Mularkey. It was awesome. It was a little fluky, but they still won. Win's a win. Don't take anything away. I mean, if Kelsey doesn't get hurt in that game, I think it's probably a different.
You are correct.
Story, but
yeah, even that
he did.
Even that was dysfunctional.
Yeah,
we believe in Mularkey, then you fire him the next week. I mean, it just she's the problem.
Well, I think on that was more John. John wanted his guy, which I get.
Then don't make the statement.
Which I get, but I thought Mularkey did a good job pulling them out of the
Amen.
debacle of Whisenhunt.
Yep.
But he was only going to get them so far. I like Mike Mularkey, but I don't think he was going to go win Super Bowls. So, and I thought Terry Robisky was an idiot. So
hey, he likes you, man. So you don't have to do all that stuff.
But anyway, so we went a little long with Brett Kern. We'll step away. We'll come back. We'll you had an interesting college football note.
Yeah,
with the portal.
Thank you.
That I thought was interesting. We'll do that and much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Okay. All right. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game here on this Monday, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. We will be there Thursday and Friday this week. So looking forward to being
Love
there.
it. Dr. Crane might be with us on Thursday down at the Omni Nashville. It's a big day as they reopen Kitchen Notes, the brand new Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel. And so,
Yeah, we're going to work on that.
some special guests down there. It'd be fun.
I'm not signing autographs. May take some pictures if I'm available.
You can do that.
Smashville Live coming up Wednesday night, Cool Springs, Brewhouse South. Come by and check that out. Just announced the guests will be Jeremy Lozon and Cole Smith at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs. Breakfast will not be provided, but looking forward to seeing everybody out there at Cool Springs. If you know, you know.
If you do know, you know.
You can weigh in on our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, 615-737-1025. We'll get back into the Titans and NFL in just a moment. This Mike McCarthy thing is interesting, and now there's, the coach trade stuff is being thrown around again of, could the Steelers trade Tomlin to Dallas and then sign McCarthy as their head coach? The last coach trade was Sean Payton a few years ago.
Was it?
Yep.
I did not know that. I thought it was Gruden.
He was still under contract.
Wow.
When he left the Saints, and so the Broncos had to compensate the Saints.
I remember Gruden left the Raiders for the Bucks and
that was a trade. And then I want to say there was even another one in between that.
Very rarely happens.
Yeah.
But why do you want my? Do you think Arthur Smith goes to New England? I would. Here you go, Art.
I would
Take it. I trust you. Have fun.
I would like him with Dregnay.
Yep. I think he did all he could with the Steelers and Russell Wilson, all he could. And they were to the guy. Look, Art Smith got, as a coordinator, your team got to the playoffs, and that's first step getting to the Super Bowl. But I'd like to say, I'm a big Art Smith fan because he's the only coach over there that ever knew my name. So I'm a big fan of his. And so I'd see him go to New England and go up there a year or two, then he'll get another job. There's not a doubt in my mind Art Smith gets another job.
I think so. I think he's a good coach.
Yep.
All right. So you saw these rankings for the transfer portal, and they kind of blew you away.
The SEC, yeah. All right. So the SEC on 3 has the transfer portal team rankings up until this past weekend. And the number one team with the transfer portal right now, according to on 3, is Missouri.
Really?
So
okay.
They're paying guys well or whatever.
Eli Drinkowitz, who is now a friend of the show because he's been on the show.
Yes, he is. Number 2 is Ole Miss. Shocker.
Lane Kiffin, who's, friend to everybody.
Yep. And has never won anything in his life. And 3rd is Auburn. 4th, LSU. 5, Texas A&M. Number 7, the Vanderbilt Commodores. Number 11,
that's good.
the Tennessee Vols.
Okay.
Coming in at dead last in transfer portal team rankings, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Is that going to end poorly?
I think so.
Is that just a look? I think DeBoer is a good DeBoer.
That's it.
Yeah, DeBoer. I think he's a good coach. I just think it's the classic case of you don't want to be the one to follow the one.
And then you're not. Look what you have to follow. I get why you went there from Washington to do all that, but if you don't have money pouring into the NIL and you got guys outbidding you, there is a reason Nick Saban left. Don't say that he got burned out. He knew what was coming.
Well, yeah, he saw the writing on the wall. But then there's also a reason that Sarkisian and Dabo and Kiffin and everybody else that was mentioned for that job was like, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
He has an office. Does he not have? I was told Saban still have an office in the building.
Yeah. And you can tell he's still around.
He's got a massive ego. Of course he's still around.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, he's great on game day. Whatever. That's fine.
You know what? There's something that's going to stand out to me. It's going to stick with me for a long time. And when we talked to Bob Kessling a few weeks ago, this was before Mike Keith was named his successor. And Mike was on the morning show today. Mike's going to join us later this week on our show. So we look forward to that. But you remember what Bob Kessling said? He goes, when I'm done, I'm not going to do a lot of interviews. I'm not going to do any interviews because it's not about me anymore. It'll be about whoever the next guy is. And I want to stay out of his way, is basically what he said.
Yeah.
And I was like, I respect that. That's really cool. And John Ward didn't do a whole lot after he stepped down. I think he did a couple here and there, like some, anniversary stuff, but it's kind of like once you're done, you're done. And I get that Saban's on game day, and so it's a little bit different. But my whole thing is, if I'm retiring, and they're like, "Okay, we'll move your office down here," like, no, I don't want an office. Like, I'm staying out of the way. And you look at programs that have had the legendary coach that can't stay away. Tennessee, Philip Fulmer, like that. It usually doesn't work out that great.
Remember when Fulmer got in trouble because he was walking by practice and then he hopped in a drill?
Yeah.
All went to line drill and told the guys, do this and do that. And he got totally busted for doing that.
You can't do that.
Hey, real quick, I know we get the break. And I'm throw this out there. And I hate saying this, Chase. I hate saying this. I'm bored by the college football playoff.
Yeah.
I'm bored. It's way too long. It's way too long. Get rid of the week, move it up. I'm bored.
Yeah.
I am bored by it now.
And
I hate saying that.
I'm not all that fired up for this championship game because it look, that's my SEC showing. That's what that is. But I'll watch it, but I'm just like, I don't care about Notre Dame. I don't care about Ohio State. I know there's people that do. So it'll like you're kind of Notre Dame, right, Dr. Crane? A little bit?
A little bit. A little bit of rock and roll. Yeah.
Okay. We wake you up?
No, I'm just typing out some things.
Connor, what about you? Notre Dame, a little bit? Yeah. Okay.
On the weekend show, he mentioned that's his. So they had a 1A, 1B, and then a 2A, 2B. That's his 2A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's Kentucky, you're Mississippi State.
Correct.
But then like the whole Catholic school thing, it's kind of required, right?
The high school I went to, they basically modeled their whole entire thing.
Yeah, they are
after
the
Notre Dame.
Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you two are on different sides of the fence there. So no fighting in the back.
No fighting at all.
One's JP2, one's Father Ryan.
We say a Hail Mary together, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
The old Bishop's Cup. Fight for the Bishop's Cup every day in that studio. Come out bloody, like I got it today, and then tomorrow.
I love that.
You can clean it up, Joe.
Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays. Always our favorite. Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight for Vandy women's basketball. Our man Jake Lyman on the call as the Commodores take on LSU at 6 o'clock, pregame at 5:45. You can also listen on the 94.9 The Fan app and 94.9thefan.com. Vanderbilt women's basketball is presented by Athletes Unlimited Pro Basketball, coming to Nashville's Municipal Auditorium February 5th through March the 2nd. Go to auprobasketball.com for more details and to purchase tickets. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Monday. If you're out and about, you ran some errands this morning, we appreciate you listening and having some fun with us.
And know that you missed nothing.
Yeah.
You missed nothing. Yeah. Just sitting around talking about books.
Books
It's a
and
book
what
club.
you learned and all that
It's
stuff.
like NPR, book club.
Look, I'll say it as we wrap things up. Obviously, we were referencing former general manager Rand Carthon of the Titans went across the street, as we like to say, did a whole hour and said absolutely nothing. So
It's like when Tom Hanks went on Sesame Street. You just sit around and
look, good on them for getting that, but you got to ask the questions, and it doesn't appear that took place. So that's
say la
it
vie,
is what it
baby.
is.
Yep.
You know, he's welcome over here. I doubt that'll ever happen, but he's welcome. So
You can find out what books he likes.
I got those answers. I don't need to ask that. I know what those are at this point. But anyway, so that it is what it is. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen. First on the docket we have here is, let's see, is that the right way to say it? Yes, it is. All right, Make Your Dream Come True Day is
Every
first.
day.
So living the dream. National Clean Off Your Desk Today. I didn't know that was a thing.
Have you seen Chase's desk?
No, I haven't.
I really think Jimmy Hoffa is somewhere on his desk.
I probably do need to clean my desk off.
Okay. Next we have is Korean American Day. So shout out to that.
Back up a second, though.
Sure.
I don't trust people with clean desks. I don't. So although Chase's desk is a something, but that means you're working. You got a clean desk. I don't trust you.
So what about my desk? I got a picture.
I don't
monitor.
trust you.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Go on.
Next we have is National Peach Melba Day.
I love peach melba.
Looks delicious.
No idea what
Let's
that
see.
is.
National Rubber Ducky Day is next. So if you like taking a bath, go grab your rubber ducky. National Sticker Day is next. You can put that on anything. Stickers, you put them on anything.
I put a Bucky sticker on my frosting and you liked it.
I did. I thought it was from
You're like,
Buc-ee's.
eat that frosting.
Yeah.
Before that's like, what are you doing?
You can put that on some brisket. There you go. We also have Public Radio Broadcasting Day. How about
It's a
that?
big day.
And to wrap it all up, we have Stephen Foster Memorial Day.
Ooh, is that like Bananas Foster?
I don't believe so.
All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You have to get these birthdays within 2 years. First up is the best comedic actress of all time. Sorry, Lucille Ball. How old is Julia Louis-Dreyfus today?
Elaine is. Ooh, this is kind of tough. I'm going to say 60.
61.
64.
Really? Okay.
Our neighbor down in Brentwood. He is the Yao Ming of Sing, Trace Atkins. All 7'10" of him.
64.
67.
63. I will tell you right now, he's a good dude. All right, Chase up 1-0.
Thanks.
Actor Patrick Dempsey, who was in two of the best movies of all time, Loverboy and Can't Buy Me Love, 80s movies, which were fantastic. Patrick Dempsey.
He's on some show, right?
The doctor show, Gross Anatomy? No.
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Gross Anatomy.
Sorry. Grey's Anatomy. He's Dr. Dreamy or whatever it's called.
Mick Dreamy. Yeah, that's it. 57.
54.
59. Chaser knows his hotties.
No, my heart throbs.
2-0 Chase. Actress Carrie. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's wrong. They put two people up there. Let's see here. Hold on.
Holding on. Got nowhere to be.
Actress Nicole
Some
Eggert.
books.
She was in Baywatch.
53.
62.
53 exactly. Chaser knows his Baywatch.
I do.
4-0. The great actor Michael Pena. Today's his birthday. He was in The Martian and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. 48.
44.
49. Chase is killing it. 5-0. Actor Orlando Bloom, who's married to Katy Perry.
Was he in the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also I think he was in Lord of the Rings too. He is 49.
50. No.
Nope.
I can't. Okay, 51.
He's 48. Chase gets it. 6-0. You know the rules, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever you spout out there, boom. Don't know her. See who this is. Don't know her. All right.
They don't know you either.
That's right. Good. They shouldn't know me. Let's see here. Man, there's a lot. Actress Penelope Ann Miller. She was in some gangster movie years ago.
52.
61.
61 exactly.
Good job,
How
Dr.
did you know
Crane.
that?
Thank you.
5-2 there. Let's go down some more here. Not a great day for birthdays. All right, let's go. Golfer Mark O'Meara. Chase is up 6-2.
47.
43.
68.
Okay. I had no idea who that was.
Former Padre Giants baseball player Kevin Mitchell. If you grew up watching the Braves in the 80s and 90s, when the Braves made that West Coast road trip, he would destroy the Atlanta Braves. How old is Kevin Mitchell?
64.
58.
63. Chase up 7-2. The final birthday. Connor, is it McDavid? Is that a hockey player?
Yeah.
Connor McDavid.
Yeah, for the Edmonton Oilers.
That's him. Yeah, I can't read my writing. I know I thought I had McDevitt, but it's Connor McDavid. Is that his name?
Yeah.
How old is Connor McDavid?
28.
27.
Chase, you're killing today. Chase wins 8-2. We got 2 dead on. Congratulations, man.
Thank
Starting
you.
the week off good.
Thank you very much.
Proud of you for that. It's really
real-
bad day for birthdays.
Real quick, before we go, we don't deserve dogs. Dogs are amazing.
Amen.
Amazing. My friend Amber had to put her dog down, Lucy, over the weekend. She was 16. She was an amazing pup. She was always in the middle of things whenever we would all hang out. It was Lucy was always there and was always the life of the party. So it was really tough over the weekend to get that news. So shout out to Lucy, shout out to Amber, and we're gonna miss Lucy Girl. You brought up Lucille Ball. That's who she was named after.
I will fight you to tell you that dogs are angels.
They truly
They're
are.
absolutely angels.
We
on
don't
earth.
find them; they find us.
There we go, baby. I like that. Hey, we always end our show with the message to our guys out there. If you're struggling, look on your cell phone. You can dial 988 or text 988. We know you're going through some things. We've gone through some things. But let me tell you what, in 24, we talked to a lot of you guys, and we love talking to you. It means you're opening up to us. We love the trust. We love the fact that you can believe in us, and we believe in you. Last week was the worst week of the year. The first week back from Thanksgiving and Christmas is the worst week. You made it. And now you're here. We're going to roll through this year together. It's all downhill in a good way. So know that we love you. Like if something happened to you, you'd be tremendously missed. Know that you are tremendously loved. We love you. And more importantly, more than anything else, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming up next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.